And so a job opened up at Cathedral. It was about 15,000 plus less than I'm making right now. But I was like, gosh, I got to be happier than this, you know?
Mm.
So, there's a
Yeah, that's
crazy
a good
story that
point.
I'm
A lot of people, I think, take for granted the peace of mind.
Mhm.
There's a cost to giving that up.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so I talked to my wife and I said, you know what? God will provide somehow, some way.
What do you got for me? Yeah, what do you got for me? Baby, would you stand and fight?
Mr. Kevin Decker, welcome to the Speakeasy Conversations. This is my little basement bar area. I turned it into a podcast studio, so I kind of have some fun with it here in my home in Holman. So thanks
Gotta
for
have
being a guest here. But before we get into any of the deep diving conversation, I do want to do a quick little commercial. So for all of those of you out there listening or watching, if you like this kind of content, please head over to cooleyconservatives.com. Click the little buy me a coffee option on the right side of the screen. It really helps fuel our efforts here, and it takes a lot of coffee to keep this operation running. So we really appreciate all your generosity with those kinds of tips. All right. Thanks for your patience, Kevin. So, just as a way of introduction, tell the audience a little bit about yourself. I call it the origin story, right? So,
right.
what tell the audience about yourself, what calls you into this kind of life of service, and then basically how you got where you are now.
Well, awesome. Thank you. And thank you so much, Chris, again for having me on. I really appreciate it. So, I always have to start from the beginning. I was born in Grand Forks, North Dakota. My parents were both Air Force, big military fan,
Oh, God bless
a
them
military
for that.
brat. But actually, I was born. So this is kind of a huge reason why I'm very pro life and whatnot. Is I was actually born with cerebral palsy. My mom had type 1 diabetes, and she chose to keep me, and she chose to of pregnancy, and, she actually was, like, so afraid, Chris, that she actually didn't put my, crib or anything together until after I was born and got home, so
Oh,
yeah, but no, yeah, I was born 6 weeks early, and then when my dad was able to hold me for the first time, right out of the womb, I started turning blue in the face, so
ooh.
that's what causes cerebral palsy is lack of oxygen to the brain as an infant, so I was on the 1st floor, I got rushed up to the 4th floor because they didn't have any oxygen for me, so I got oxygen, and, they said I wouldn't be able to walk or have a full functional life, and my parents don't take that for an answer, so I was in the, Minneapolis Children's Hospital at 4 years old with a rhizotomy surgery, so basically
Mm.
what they do is they put on these like cool like goggles and they go through the spine and they loosen nerve endings and stuff and they said I probably wouldn't be able to walk and 3 days later I was jumping around in my bed. Played basketball through about sophomore year of high school. I ran track in 8th grade. Yeah, so functional life. Really found Christ in my faith when I hit 21. Got baptized and confirmed into the Catholic Church in 2010. Fell away for a couple of years and did stand-up comedy for a couple of years. So I'm just definitely not shy of this kind of thing. And then fell back in my old ways. Came back in 2013 at a Sikh conference that Focus puts on. Became a missionary. Got sent out to to the Cross campus. Met my wife the first day. And here we are, we're best friends for a year, dated for 6 months, engaged for six, and married just over 10, 5 kids. And yeah, just I had a very much love for service ever since Focus.
That is an amazing story, my friend. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for
No
sharing that.
problem.
So you mentioned something that I gotta call out, and
Sure.
and dive deeper into a stand-up comedy. What is
Stand
that
up.
like?
you know, I always wanted to do it for many years. I always was like really funny. I, you know, I was very good at comebacks and very witty type person.
Yeah,
Because I could never win the physical battles, so I had to do the mental battles.
sure.
So yeah. I had a chance to do it in Grand Forks, North Dakota, where I'm from. There was an old movie theater, and it got turned into like a stage for different events and that sort of thing. So I rented it out and was in the newspaper, was in on different radio stations back in the day, and I ended up almost selling the whole thing out. I had MCs, I had bands come in. I did about a 45-minute skit, and after all said and done, I, after about a 45-minute skit, after all said and done, I paid myself $1,500 in cash. So
Gee.
yeah, I did very well with that, and so did it for a couple years, this and that, and I think this is part of my faith journey as well too. So comedy can be a very dark place.
Mm,
Um, and I'll never forget, I had a chance to do stand-up comedy in the Twin Cities, and so Comedy Central was looking for the next big thing, and so going in front of there and actually getting to do a routine in front of them, obviously that's every comedian's dream.
yeah.
So I asked the guy, I was like, what should I do? What should I, he's like, you should look up Mitch Hedberg and start following some of the stuff he does, whatever. I was like, oh, has he done anything recently? I'm like, no, he died of a heroin overdose, like, 5 years ago at the time. Like,
Oh,
and I thought
no.
to myself, why am I following a guy like that? So I
Yeah.
really found Christ again. I really came back to started coming back to the church, really realizing that I need to do something better for my life. And this is just a life of death, and I want to be fully alive. So here we are.
Wow. That is, again, very cool story. Thanks for sharing
Thank you.
that
Yeah.
part.
And so real quickly, Chris, too. So when and this is another reason why you asked me why am I running and getting into to politics. So when I first got married, I finished Focus and I didn't really know what to do with my life. I'm a young man married. And so I started working at the Shrine mowing lawns that summer. So and then I was actually working in the Texas Roadhouse, scrubbing fryers, cooking, that sort of thing, just grunt work. So
Mhm.
working there, but working hard my entire life because I knew my wife wanted to stay home. She wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. I knew that about
Yeah.
her. So, and so just constantly providing. I've had two jobs ever since we got engaged. I've had two jobs. Still to this day, I have two jobs, because just providing for the family and trying to be the breadwinner. And I've sold cell phones, scrub bathrooms. I mean, I've any job that nobody wants to do, I've picked up and done. And so my last job before what I work now, I was working at Train, working in water cover, doing seal rings, and also doing making bolts, those sort of things. And I was like, there's got to be something better for me, and I really felt like God really called me back to ministry. And so a job opened up at Cathedral. It was about 15,000 plus less than I'm making right now, but I was like, "Gosh, I gotta be happier than this?"
Mm.
So, this is a
Yeah, that's a
crazy
good
story,
point.
never
A
told.
lot of people, I think, take for granted the peace of mind.
Mhm.
There's a cost to giving that up.
Absolutely. Absolutely, and so I talked to my wife and I said, "You know what? God will provide somehow, some way." I told God, I was like, "I'm not going back to school to do this ministry job. I'm not gonna do it." And quick funny story, so the priest had met me. We never met each other. We met He really enjoyed everything I had to say, but he got confused because God was like, "I'll take care of you. You don't have to worry about going back to school. I'll take care of you." So funny story about that. Monsignor Gillis, who's my boss, he was hearing my story, and I said I went to Ave Maria, Florida, for training for 6 weeks in theology and philosophy and fundraising for Focus. But he thought I went to school there for 4 years, so he hired me. Thought I went to school, and then when I was signing the paperwork, he realized that I had no schooling, and so he got all nervous and signed anyway, but we joke to this day, and he says I'm the best mistake he's ever made, so
Yeah. As
so
that's amazing. It was meant to be.
it was meant to be. So, I've been doing ministry work now again, coming up on this is my fourth year right now, working very intensely with the homeless downtown, building up the kingdom of Christ and the church, and I love every minute of it.
That's awesome. Well, and you and I just met this week,
Yeah.
but a lot of the people who already know you, they just say nothing but good things about you. So it's I feel like I already know you through them and the stories that they're telling me.
Oh yeah, no, thank you so much, and yeah, no, I've also heard great things about you as well too. That I was not gonna lie, I was a little nervous being on this podcast at first. I was like,
Oh
oh, I hope I
man.
don't screw up. But one thing I really,
We keep it real here, man. There's nothing to be. That's the beauty of podcasting. It's completely
right,
authentic.
that's what I love too, and I got to say something too. One thing I really appreciate that you did at the Republican caucus this past week is start up in prayer. And I really loved it. It really touched me. I was just like, is this for me? Am I in the right spot? Whatever. And then you come out with that. I was like, I'm here. I'm where I need to be. So
Oh,
thank you for that
I'm
answer of
glad.
prayer.
I'm glad. Well, and that is the beauty of it. especially those of us who have been conservatives all of our lives, most of our lives, part of our lives. I mean, there is a point at which there's an intersection between our faith and our politics. And for me, it kind of like you were saying, um, I kind of fell away for a little while. I grew up Catholic, fell away, and then when I met my wife, it kind of rekindled my faith life. Like, what kind of a husband do I want to be? What kind of, well, at that time, what kind of boyfriend do I want to be? What kind of, and like you were saying, very similar story. Just getting back into the Word and really studying, going through the classes, and just rekindling that faith. It's a powerful thing. And I'm super happy that, like, as a political party, we don't forget that. It's great to have leaders who keep fostering that attitude, because ultimately it makes us really good citizens too.
Exactly. The Republican Party needs to be a place for Christians to go because the other side is nowhere near Christianity. So,
Amen. That's a good
you
point.
know, and so I yeah,
Well,
I
and let's talk about that a little bit. So you're running in District 15 in La Crosse
District
County.
15, running against Monica Cruz. She's been there for 16 years
She's been there a
and
while.
long time, long time. So, and I know she's gonna give a heck of a fight, but
Yeah.
I'm not gonna roll over either. And so I
No,
guess
well, and yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, all I was saying was is how I even got in this. People have been bugging me for probably about 5, 6 years to run. To run, you should run, you
Nice.
should run. I was like, for the love of Pete, like I just want to live a simple. That never happens when you fall in love with Christ, you know.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. But anyway, so I work with mental health and drug addicted men is what I work with, and through the grace of God, we've been able to help. I think now 10 or 11 men now get off the street, find permanent
Oh, that's
housing,
amazing.
find Christ, be in a community that loves and cares for them. We support jobs, even have helped them get into group homes so they can get their medications and be taken care of. And I mean, just phenomenal work. And we're actually doing more and more interviews with the people that we've helped, and they're just coming through. Just their amazing stories, leaving drugs, gang life, dealing,
Wow.
all that stuff, and coming fully alive in Christ. And it's just been just a beautiful thing. So anyway, the reason why I started running my last straw. So I had this gentleman that he was addicted to cocaine and crack cocaine,
Mm.
which is a very powerful drug. And he finally wanted to get sober. He's got mental health issues as well too, struggles with manic and depression, bipolar, those type of things.
Sure.
And so he finally wanted to get sober. So he was able to get to a place in Appleton to get rehab. So he was there for 2 weeks, but then he started going into a psychosis and manic state, and they couldn't
Mm.
handle him. So his parents had to go pick him up, and the place said, "Hey, we are going to bring him. You can bring him to Gunderson. We'll let him know that he's coming, and then he can be in the psych ward. And once he's done, he can come back." So they did all that, and Gunderson said we had no idea he was coming. And so a lot of people that are bipolar, they don't think they have bipolar. They say I'm fine. Well, you can't really chapter 51 anybody anymore. You
Right.
can't really. So they leave him. They let him go. He ends up showing up at their church New Year's Day, and I had to get him, escort him out into the hallway. I called the cops. Cops said they couldn't do anything, so he leaves saying he's a prophet and he's from God and all this. I mean, just random crazy stuff. And he ends up going and driving and getting into an accident. And I'm thinking to myself, and he's fine. And he's actually now, beautiful story, he's back getting the care that he needs now and taken care
Oh,
of.
thank
But
God.
my thing is, Chris, why did it take so long? Why do we have to get to that point? What if that was my kids that got hit by the
Yeah.
car? What if it was your kids, you, whoever? So I said, to heck with it. I'm going to run because I'm sick and tired of the laws. Anytime we do anything that makes sense, we can't do it. So I'm tired of it. And all the money we spend, it's ridiculous. So I'm here, I'm running, I'm on fire, and we're in the right. I'm full bore.
Man, God bless you for that. I mean, that's the thing that a lot of people, I think, there it comes to a point where you've had enough, right? And the only way to make things change is to make things change.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I'm
But, one thing I was thinking about too, like, as you're going door to door talking to the voters, what are the topics that are top of mind for them?
it's It's the homeless issue. Even though we're in my district in Blue, I'm right by Blue Moon and on Alaska, that
Yep.
whole area. They all work in La Crosse, and the reason why we don't live in La Crosse is because A, the taxes are so dang high, and two, the streets are crap.
Yeah.
It's not a safe area to raise your kids, and it's so sad. It's only a 51,000 people that live there. This isn't we're in.
Yep.
It's not like we're in Southside Chicago here. You know,
Exactly.
and so those are the big issues. Yes, I mean, cost of living, I mean, my generation and younger talk about it all the time. The cost of living, it's so ridiculously high. And it's not even just the interest rates or the property taxes. Those are factors. But I mean, I bought my house, Chris, 2016 at 180,000 as a twin door, 4 bedroom, 3 bath, 1,700 square feet, 180,000. Today it's worth almost 370,000. Who can afford that, especially at 7-8%?
Yeah.
You know? I mean, even when my parents were buying houses, and then bought, 20 to $60,000 range. I mean, yeah, it was 18%, but it wasn't 300,000, four, $500,000 to start out.
Yeah.
I
These
mean, I mean,
values
it's just
doubling and tripling over a couple
oh,
of years. It's crazy.
it's just insane, and we got to do something about it. And so I really believe if we can, I truly believe if we can clean up the homeless problem, which I know through the grace of God we can, and we start cleaning up the streets. Look how many for out of business signs you see downtown. I mean,
Yeah.
it just keeps happening more and more. People are going to invest in downtown if it becomes safe,
Oh,
and
exactly.
our downtown can thrive again, and then our economic boom can happen, and then those people pay taxes, and it all goes back into the infrastructure and everything else. I mean, man, I'm telling you, if you can really get, I mean, people want safe streets. I tell Republicans all the time, lower cost of living's good, but if I don't feel safe there, I don't want to live there. I can afford to live in Southside Chicago, but I don't want to live there. I can afford to live in Detroit, but I don't want to live there either.
Right.
And those are the real issues that I'm running on, and I think it's a real kryptonite to the Democrats because they run it all the time, but I've actually had success with it.
Yeah. Well, and that's awesome because I mean, like you're saying, I'm in kind of a similar situation. Steve Doyle has been on the county board since the 1980s. Monica Cruz has been there for a very long time as well.
Oh, nine.
And
Yeah.
so, I mean, we kind of we the way I was kind of putting it to a lot of the people I've been visiting with, the voters in my district, District 20, is like if they could have done something, wouldn't they have done it by now?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think the
Exactly.
biggest difference is that you and I have a very different mindset. We have a mindset of protecting the taxpayers. The other side has a mindset of protecting the bureaucracy.
Yep. Yes. You've nailed it right on the head. You've nailed it. And because you and I work hard for what we have. You look like
Exactly.
a hardworking man. I am too. Nothing was ever given to me just because I have CP. I still put my pants on the same way as everybody else. I still go out there and make a living just like everybody else. And I'm not asking to live like a king. I'm just asking to be able to provide for my family and have a decent life.
Yeah. Well, and like we were saying with the taxes too, just get that stuff out of our way. It's just
Yeah.
all it does, all of those crazy taxes, and especially like some of the retired folks I talk to,
Yeah.
they're complaining they've spent their whole lives paying off their mortgage, and now they are still making payments for the
Yeah.
taxes.
Yeah. Yeah. It doesn't end, you know? It,
Yeah,
it, it
I think
really
enough
doesn't.
is enough.
It is, and you know, I'm glad people are speaking out, and I got to speak to this. So this is more my generation than probably yours. So my generation, when we first started voting, it was Obama and McCain, right? And Obama sounded really good, right? I mean, nobody can really argue that he sounded great, and I didn't fall for it, but a lot of my generation fell for him.
Yeah.
And then we had 8 years of complete crap. Our, you know, our Medicare went way through the roof,
The
taxes.
government
I
took
mean,
over healthcare.
government took over healthcare. Our economy just like crawled back. It'd been better off if he did nothing at all. And so then you have him in this political correctness and all this crap and this when this woke stuff started. Then you have somebody like Donald Trump come in and just destroy the establishment. And people wonder why my generation's all behind him. we don't care what he's done. We care about what he's doing for us now, and we don't care how he
Yeah.
says it. We just want him to get it done. And that's where the generation I come from, and that's what I'm not a polished guy. I'm not a huge educated from Harvard guy. I'm just a
Right.
straight shooter that's just coming in, that's had real life experience and been kicked in the teeth, and I'm sick and tired of it, and I'm willing to fight for the people that are working next to me.
I love it. No, and that's like we were saying before about podcasting. I think that's why people are so sick of the Hollywood scripted BS you see in the corporate media.
Gosh. The people that pretend to be somebody else act like they know what we're going through every day. Give me a
And it's
break.
all BS.
It's
It's all
complete
BS.
BS. You don't know what that's like to live the life that we're living. I mean, give me a break.
Yeah.
I
No,
just
it's
yeah.
that's well said. And it like I said before, it is so encouraging to see you run for this seat. As I mentioned, I mean, you've definitely got the fire in your belly for serving people and protecting them and trying to
Mhm.
get the government out of their way. That so God bless you, man.
Well, I'm so sick of all the red tape. Like, you try to help these guys out. They get the services they need, but then they can't make more than $1,200 a month. Otherwise, they don't have their services. Well, how can they thrive in that? Nobody
Yeah.
can. And so and it's just like and then a lot of these social workers have no idea what they're doing, and they've been handed out degrees. I don't know who gave them these degrees, but they've been handed out. It's just been a complete joke. I mean, not all of them. Yeah, there is some that do well, and I'm not gonna all of them, but some of them, it's scary business.
Well, and that's the other thing too that I keep reminding people in the 1980s when Ronald Reagan tried to teach everybody that the government is not the solution to your problem, the government is the problem. And
Yep.
what that means to me is if we get the government out of the way, organizations like the stuff that you're doing, things that the Salvation Army is doing, the things that the Red
Mhm.
Cross or the United Way, then they come in, they fill the gaps, and they are the experts on
Yes.
this. Good,
Yes.
privately held charities, they know how to fix these things. The government just
Yes.
gets in the way and breaks it, makes it worse.
Well, you know what makes me sick too is a lot of the churches prostitute themselves to the government, and then the government ends up taking over their institution. And
Yeah.
now we got red tape all over the place, and we're not even Catholic anymore. We're not even Christian anymore. We don't even
They
know
have
what
to
the hell
go
we
through
are.
all the hoops. They have
Mhm.
all the strings that get attached with the funding. It's just
Yes,
such a joke. Just get the
it
government
really
out
is.
of it.
Yes, and I am so Charlie Kirk said this, but I've been a big advocate for a long time. The homeless problem and the mental health, the drug addiction problem is not a capital issue. If it was a capital issue, Democrats would have solved this 10 years ago. It's not. It's a humanity issue, and
Yeah.
I'm a big component. There's three things. They need God above all things, which obviously the church can provide that.
The spiritual component is a
Yes.
big one.
Yes. Yes. And then 2, they need a community. They need somebody that cares. They don't need a social worker that gets paid to make sure they get services. That's not a friend.
Well,
That's not,
that just makes them a number on a spreadsheet to them.
exactly. Exactly. I mean, there's tons of times where these guys have come sober and had nowhere to go, and I've invited them into my home. They've come over for Thanksgiving. You know what I mean? We share life together. And they're some of the greatest people I've ever met. They come to my Bible study. They're just phenomenal men. And then last, they need a purpose. They need a reason to get
Yes.
up every morning. I mean, we all do. I mean, we all need those three things, but especially them. And the government will never give it, and money will never give them that. And so that's why I'm truly believe get the government out of the way, let the churches and the nonprofits come in and do it. And the best part is if people love it, they'll support it. And if
Yeah.
they don't have to be forced to support it.
Or if a charity isn't meeting the, muster, then they find
Yeah,
another charity that does.
exactly. They stop supporting it. Could you imagine if I stopped paying taxes?
We all end up in jail then.
Yeah, I know. Exactly. Exactly.
Oh,
So
well said, sir. Well, I think I really appreciate all the time you've given me here today. But before I let you get out of here, what's a good way for people to reach out to you if they have even more questions?
they can reach out to me two ways. I got my Facebook page. It's Kevin Decker for La Crosse County. And then I also have they can also email me PMA at cathedralsjworkman.org. Either one of those two ways, email me and let me know what you think. I mean, I am open to hearing anything. A lot of times when I knock doors, I'm like, if you were in my position, what would you like to see changed?
Perfect. Actually, you
It's
know what? Before I let you go, maybe that's the question I should ask you. So a
Yeah.
year from now, or actually just a few months from now, you get elected to office. How are you changing things in the county government? How are you helping to make sure that things are actually improving?
So for first of all, as passionate as a human being that I am, I do a good job of going in and assessing the situation. How are things run now? How do things work now? Why are we doing what we're doing? And then
Mhm.
once you make a decision, you start forming and be like, okay, this is ridiculous. Why do we keep doing this? And here's what we should be doing. Like why are we taking 80% of our road budget and putting it in for these social programs that don't work? And then now I can't even get to work to pay my taxes because the roads suck, you
Well
know?
said.
And those are things people need to learn to improvise, adapt, and overcome. We got to assess the situation. I think that's the main thing coming into this is I'm very much of like, what is the big picture here and what are we trying to do?
Yeah, being open to new ideas, new
Hmm.
ways of thinking. But the first step, like you said, very well said. Let's figure out where we are today.
Yeah,
At
exactly.
work, we call that our current state. We want to understand the current state. I'm actually in a project right now where we're trying to figure out what in the heck is going on here. But we figure out the current state, then we come together and have a conversation about, okay, now where do we go from here? Now that we know what's going on to a level of detail that nobody had before, then you figure out where you take it for the next step. I
Yeah.
love that idea. Having a
Yeah.
clear understanding of where we are before we decide where we want to go
Hmm.
makes a lot of sense.
Exactly. I can't just come in here and start guns blazing and we're gonna change everything. Well, I
Right.
don't even, I got,
Because there's no magic button, if you don't
no.
know exactly how things are today. And that's actually another good thing. I'm gonna sit down with the emergency communications director on Friday and just kind of have a conversation about how things are going now for them. Um, I'm that's the other thing I want to do is very similar to you, get an understanding of where things are. So yeah, it's amazing. We're all thinking the same kinds of things.
I know, weird, and it's weird. I guess that's why we're running, right?
I honestly, I think this is the things that are meant to be. Like
Yeah.
it's like a perfect storm that's forming here that we could
Mhm.
actually maybe change things
Oh yeah.
for a change.
Well, I got to share something with you real quick. I think we got a couple more minutes
You
here.
bet.
So I wanted to share something with you. So I am so happy that you're running against Doyle. If I wasn't so busy in my own campaign, I'd probably be knocking doors for you. But I I have gotten so tired of how like Ron Kine, Doyle sit there and they say, oh, we're nonpartisan, we're 50-50. And Doyle came to my door one time. I said, "You are like 92% of the time voting Democrat, and the only time you vote Republican is when nobody else is looking, and so
Right.
you can throw it on your resume." And I said, because I actually, I don't want to. I'm going to work hard in this election. I want to win it, but I was so fed up with Doyle. I thought about running the assembly in February in November because I'm just tired of it. Um,
Yeah.
I think we need good candidates. Even as a longtime Republican, I haven't seen a ton of good candidates in this area.
Yeah,
And it's nice to
it's
see
been a
you
while since
step
we had
up.
a really good solid primary too.
Yes. To be honest with you, I thought about just putting myself in the primary to shake things up. Make him
Yeah.
work for it. Make him, you know what I mean? I'm tired of just. I feel like, oh, this guy wants
Let
to
the
run,
chips
so we're
fall
all
where
going to
they
go
may.
behind him. Yeah, and I think that's one thing about I haven't just come. I come for the God community first, and I'm fighting for that. But I'm also fighting for the Republican Party because I think it's been lackluster the last however
Mhm.
many years. I'm talking locally. I'm talking
Mhm.
in the local sphere of it, and I want to see better candidates. And if I can run and inspire more good people like myself to get off the rear end and run, absolutely.
Yeah. No,
So,
that's well said. And I say it on the podcast all the time, we all have to get off our couches and get engaged in this process.
mm,
And I
I
mean,
agree.
especially when you come at it with the right attitude, Dan Kapanke puts it really well for years, talking about you can disagree without being disagreeable. We don't have to
Mm,
agree on everything. We could have
no,
a good solid primary and compare and contrast people's opinions and see where the chips fall.
yeah, exactly.
That is a very positive thing, especially when the competition is among friends.
Absolutely. And here's the other thing too. I don't mind working with people with Democrats. I do it all the time when I'm doing the homeless thing, and we actually agree on a lot of things. We
Exactly.
need to push our we just need to push the stupid policies to the side, and what are the issues at hand, and how do we work together to finish that? And I think I'm hoping to be one of the candidates that can bridge the gap on that. Now, I
Yeah.
don't want people to think, oh well, he's a moderate. No, I'm actually not a moderate at all. I'm probably about as right wing as it gets, and I'm not afraid to admit that. And there's reasons for that. And I love chatting with people about it. And,
Yeah.
my parents love this country for years. They've served, and I got that compassion from them. We live in the greatest country in the world, and I want to keep it that way. And another thought too, Chris, if we don't start sticking up for lacrosse and helping out lacrosse and this, we're gonna be Minneapolis one day if we don't start taking care of the local issues.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. That is a good point. I got to be careful too. Some of the times I've been talking about the idea that, like in District 20, for example, all of our property taxes, it seems like we always end up that our tax dollars end up in programs in the city of La Crosse. You make a
Why?
good point that some of that is warranted, but it is so frustrating.
Because how is it helping you? There's a reason why you live in Holman. There's a reason why I live in Onalaska. I wanna see
Yep.
that money happen in Onalaska. I wanna see roads in Onalaska for not that I mean, don't get me wrong, because if we don't fix lacrosse, it's gonna decay over to Onalaska and Holman. It will,
And
and
it
people are just
is.
gonna keep
You can
moving
see the
further. Yeah.
crime rates increasing.
Yes, yes. And because all that's gonna happen is people are gonna keep moving further and further out, and it's gonna keep following them. We need to finally deal with the issue.
Yes.
And I feel like even with the drug issues, that's why I tell a lot of these guys that are getting sober or whatever, and they call me an authoritative dad because I care for them, and I hold them accountable to things. I say stupid has to hurt, and if stupid doesn't hurt, we keep doing stupid things.
Yeah.
And so, like, I was doing stupid things by continuing to complain about how things are going. Guess what? So now I'm doing something about it to so hopefully make a difference. So.
Yeah. Well said. All right, sir. I'm going to let you get out of here. Anything else before
Sounds
I
good. You got
hit
me
the
all
stop
fired
button?
up now. You got another half hour?
Yeah, I know. That's the danger of doing these
Oh,
conversations
yeah.
because I'm
Yeah.
the same way. I'll have a conversation like this and I'll be fired up for a couple hours now.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you
Oh,
so
yeah.
much for your time.
Yeah,
This was awesome.
thank you. Awesome. Anytime you need me back, I really enjoyed this. Anything you need, I'm definitely praying for you. I got the community praying for you. Good luck to you, Chris. Whatever you need, man, we're here for you.
Thank you so much. And God bless your run, man. It's so exciting to see you running in this race. So
Thank
thank
you.
you.
I appreciate it. Yeah,
All
God
right, I'm
bless.
going to hit
Hi, thanks for checking out this episode. If you like this content, then please visit cooleyconservatives.com and click the Buy Me a Coffee option to leave us a tip. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Truth Social. Oh, and you can get our content in your email inbox once a week by subscribing at cooleyconservatives.com. Thanks again. Take care and God bless.